Well, good morning, everybody. Having my coffee. As you saw, I cut a pineapple already. It's been a full day already. um, I'll be getting out today. There's some things I have planned for today and a little bit for tomorrow, if it works out with the weather. I'm going to have to see about that. I'm hopeful. Um, so, how do I say this? I had several things planned. One thing I had planned for today was to go work with some employment counselors in Des Moines. Now, I know these people from a few years ago, and I decided to reach out to them. However, I rescheduled it because the weather and the heat, and I'm just not ready. I don't think today, but I will. I will reschedule soon with them, and I think that they can help my situation. Also, and I think making connections in Des Moines might be a good idea for me. It might. And then, so anyway, that's going to get rescheduled. And then the other thing, I was going to go to Colorado and try to find a place. That was sort of my plan. However, I'm rethinking it because, it's been a few years since I've been out there, and there are probably some perks for me out there, but there's also some major drawbacks. First of all, the altitude. It's high out there. I can actually, from making several trips to Colorado and back, I can actually tell that I'm going up in altitude as I go over to there. I can actually tell it. I couldn't, I don't think, when I first went out there, but I can now. But it is very high altitude, and I used to live at 8,500 feet. And so literally I lived in the mountains. That is correct. It was up there. It was way up there. And 7,000 feet is the cutoff where you can get altitude sickness. I even lived above that. I had a doctor, a physician in Colorado Springs one time. I didn't have him very long, but I saw him once. And he said to me that he used to live where the town up in the mountains where I was living at the time. And he said, he lived up there for a while, and then his labs, he didn't feel well, and he had labs done, and all his labs were way off. And he said he attributed it to the altitude, and he moved to lower altitude, and he said his labs went back to normal. So I think it is very stressful for people to live at that high altitude. Now, if they're very strong, they can probably adapt and get used to it. But I think it's really hard, even on the healthiest person, to live up there. And again, it was above 7,000 feet, which is the cutoff for altitude sickness. So, and I used to hike at Mueller State Park, which is 10,000 feet, I believe. And that's even higher. I used to go up to the place where I got my divorce. The county seat of that particular place is Cripple Creek. Cripple Creek is at 12,000 feet? I think 11 or 12. I think so. It is up there. And it was a historic, divorce is no fun. I mean, it's traumatic, it's awful. But the courthouse was an old historic courthouse, and they told me that it was haunted. I didn't see anything, but they told me it was. And you should see the drive. It looked like you were going up to Mount Everest, and this is where I get my divorce at. It was just like, anyway. And I had to make several trips up and down there, actually for paperwork and to get things filed and different things. Yeah, because it was the county seat. You literally, and I've been to our county seat here, which is Montezuma, and it was about a 30-minute drive. But I thought to myself, yeah, but it's not straight up. So that was quite the experience. But anyway, where was I? I decided, I was used to it then. I was younger, and I had just, actually, when we moved there, I had just had cancer, and I had just gone into survival mode from that. I had been I've never been pronounced cancer free, but I have been pronounced in remission, and there's a difference. So cancer free means you're not going to get it again. In remission, it means you can. So in remission sort of means like it's lurking. It's like quiet, sleeping, and something can bring it to life again. That's what in remission means. And that's what I am. Now, my sister had leukemia. She had a bone marrow transplant from her brother, and she is considered cancer free. At least I think so. So that's not to mean that another type of cancer would crop up or something, but the one she had is considered gone, actually. But anyway, I've thought about that. I've thought I'm not used to the altitude. Of course, I probably wouldn't go clear into the mountains, but nevertheless, I mean, Denver is considered mile high, which is up there. And Colorado Springs, if I was to go down there, which is what I'm most used to, is considered even higher. People don't realize that Colorado Springs is even higher than the Mile High City. And there is higher than the Mile High City. So, and we lived 1,000 feet above Colorado Springs. And I'm probably not going to live up there, but nevertheless, the altitude is hard on you. And I have cardiovascular problems, which can be managed. And on flatland, they can be managed pretty well. They should be managed better than I'm doing now. But a lot of that's my housing, different issues surrounding that. It's not really my housing, because my housing as such is fine. It's issues I've had surrounding the housing, I would say. But it's not the housing itself. So let me correct that. But I would say situations within the housing context that have caused it. But anyway, I'm probably better off here. And I think after Trump passed his bill, I would be worried if I went out there and something blew up in my face, which has happened, and I would be left without housing or something like that. Something really bad could happen to me. Now, it could here too, but I don't know. I want to bide my time for a little bit and see how everything works out. So I decided I might be, for now, I'm better off here. But that doesn't mean I won't move. It means I'm still looking. And for now, I think I'm going to stay for a little bit. But, I still would like better. I still would like a better situation. Certainly get rid of the smoking. My brother really wants me out of the smoking. And I do too. It's been a little bit better lately. I don't know, last night, I don't know what he's got up there now. There was some other strange smell that I can't identify. So God only knows. I don't know my drug smells because I don't do drugs. Sorry, I'm not very educated in that department, but that's a good thing. So anyway, my idea on Colorado is to wait. I want to watch the news out there a little bit. I want to see what's shaking. I want to see how it's going. If I can make connections out there and talk to people, I'm going to do it. I have applied for jobs out there, and I'm going to apply for jobs here too. Somewhere else in the Midwest would be fine with me if I could get it to work out. I mean, but I need to go to better and not worse. So my whole idea is better and not worse. And I think that you don't just move overnight, because if you do, you'll probably end up in a worse situation. And I've done that a lot, and I don't want to do it again. So that's my thought on Colorado. And also, if I did want to go to Colorado, if I wait a little further into the fall, it will be much nicer for going out there. So right now, I don't think, with the weather, now is not the time. So that was my decision on Colorado. So it's still on the table, but I want to wait for the weather to get better, and I want to think about it, and I want to try to make some connections and see what's shaking. So then I planned something for today and tomorrow. Number one, to get me out of, it's been kind of smoky around here. It does make me very sick. And what gets me is the neighbor knows it and does it anyway. That pisses me off. Oh, it doesn't. I actually am not so pissed off anymore. It's just stupid is what it is. And I don't know what kind of person he must be to do that. So, that's what's on the agenda. And I'm not going to say specific plans, but I am rescheduling some things and waiting on some things and doing some other things. So have a good day.